You're watching San Diego 6 News at 4.
Planning for the time you will not be able to drive.
Too old to drive? In less than a month, there have been a handful of accidents involving drivers who are elderly. A look at a service that helps seniors decide when it's no longer safe to be behind the wheel.
And healthcare workers walk off the job. Thousands are on strike. Why they say it's a matter of life and death.
Gas station bomb scare, what a man found taped underneath his SUV after a recent trip to Mexico. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for our 4 p.m. debut. I'm Jim Patton.
And I'm Netta Uraupur. We are very proud to be part of the first new newscast right here on San Diego 6 in 15 years.
In addition to our nightly news at 10 p.m., you can now join us every weekday at 4. We're excited to be here, and topping our news this afternoon, hundreds of healthcare workers on strike.
Kaiser, Kaiser, can't you see? This is a healthcare emergency. Kaiser, Kaiser, can't you see? This is a healthcare emergency.
Homicides, suicides, Great Depression. Some hospital workers say we are in the midst of a mental health crisis, and patients are not getting the care they need.
It is often overlooked and stigmatized, and now Kaiser Permanente doctors and nurses say they will not work at all until the conditions are improved.
It was a busy day on the picket line. Thousands of mental health clinicians across the state are on strike. San Diego 6's Jenny Day joining us live from Grantville with the very latest. Jenny.
Mental health care workers marched for nearly 10 hours today out front of this Kaiser Permanente on Zion Avenue. They got started around 6 o'clock this morning and plan to strike all week long. Now, hospital workers are not asking for better pay. They aren't even asking for better hours. They simply want more workers. The signs may not always be obvious to the eye, but it's there. The urgency to get mental health help can mean life or death. But Kaiser Permanente psychologists, therapists, and social workers say some patients have to wait more than a month to be seen. Then it's too late.
We know of several suicides that have happened, and that's always one of our biggest concerns.
To make their mission clear, 2,600 mental health clinicians walked off the job Monday, striking, demanding adequate and timely care for patients.
We care about our patients.
Signs read mental health, not corporate greed. Patients before profit.
Kaiser, Kaiser, can't you see? This is a healthcare emergency.
Years of negotiations between the union and the hospital are at a standstill.
Our concern is that we see prolonged suffering with our patients. People who are dealing with anxiety disorders, depression, bipolar disorder. We know from research that what helps people get better is frequent appointments when they need it.
Kaiser argues they aren't short-staffed and that their employees have been resistant to change.
We've increased the behavioral health employees by 25% over the last few years, and as we grow, so will our employee ranks.
And until an agreement can be reached on staffing, Kaiser says the patients in need of the most critical care will be seen.
People who need acute, immediate care, urgent care, receive that care in our behavioral services.
Now back out here live where day one of this week-long strike has just wrapped up. Again, they will get started tomorrow. That will be out front of the Point Loma medical offices. But I want you to know if you are in dire need of care, they certainly are bringing in extra staff. Managers are stepping up, so they will still be fully operational during this strike. We are live in Grantville. Jenny Day, San Diego 6 News.
All right, Jenny, thank you so much. And new at 4, a bomb squad called out to a Serra Mesa gas station after a man spotted a suspicious package taped underneath his SUV.
It turned out to be drugs. Police say the man pulled into the Chevron gas station on Murphy Canyon Road this morning and noticed a package. He removed it, placed it in the passenger seat, and called 911. The bomb squad found several other packages and determined they contained drugs. The driver had recently been in Mexico and may have been used as a drug mule. A man lost his leg when he got hit by a motorcycle in the Edgar Highlands neighborhood. San Diego police say a motorcycle hit a pedestrian right on the 1400 block of West Palm Avenue. A witness who rushed to help put a tourniquet on the victim's leg, and that's when he noticed it was severed. That witness had previous military training, so he knew what to do.
He yelled out to anybody if they had a belt or tourniquet or something I could use as a tourniquet because his leg's been amputated. Guy ran up, gave me his belt, so I put it around the guy's leg. Stopped the bleeding, And he said, "Oh, my leg hurts," and I just told him that relax, everything's gonna be okay.
And traffic was closed in both directions on Palm between 13th and 16th Streets in Edgar Highlands for about 3 hours.
Developing story right now, the FBI trying to determine who hacked into the Twitter and YouTube accounts for U.S. Central Command. Hackers claiming to be from the group Islamic State posted messages saying, quote, "American soldiers, we are coming, watch your back." The CENTCOM profile photo was replaced with the text, "I love you, ISIS." Some internal military documents also appeared. The accounts were quickly suspended. CENTCOM is a unified command of the U.S. military. Right now, joint forces are undergoing airstrikes against IS in Iraq and Syria.
France remains on high alert today after the deadly terror attacks that sent the country into a panic. French police say other members of the terror cell may still be at large. Ryan Nobles has more on the show of solidarity as the search continues for accomplices.
Already on edge, the people of France are on high alert after new video surfaces warning of the potential for more violence. But in a sign of unity and courage, millions of people from all different faiths gathered in the streets of France Sunday.
Just a sea of people, all ages, all ethnicities, with signs and French flags and supporting freedom. It was unbelievably moving.
Absent from that march, a high-ranking member of the Obama administration. This despite major world leaders like Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu taking part. White House officials admit they made a mistake.
I think it's fair to say that we should have sent someone with a higher profile.
However, Secretary of State John Kerry, who will travel to France later this week, made it clear the U.S. remains committed to helping France in any way it can.
I don't think the people of France have any doubt about America's understanding of what happened.
The French government defended the U.S. President François Hollande saying President Obama has been, quote, very present from the start. Kerry vowed that commitment will continue.
The relationship with France is not about one day or one particular moment. It's an ongoing, long-time relationship.
A partnership that will be important as the world attempts to hold back the ongoing threat of terror. In Washington, I'm Ryan Nobles reporting.
And more than 8,000 French soldiers are now patrolling the streets of France with hopes of preventing another attack. Well, despite the Pope's decision, the dispute involving an El Cajon Chaldean priest continues. The head of the Chaldean Catholic Church is demanding that Father Noel Georges of St. Peter's Chaldean Church in El Cajon returns to Iraq. But Georges says he would rather commit suicide than return under Sacco's order. Pope Francis is siding with Father Georges, saying he does not have to return. However, Sacco disagrees with the Pope and says if Father Georges and other Western Chaldean priests fail to comply, they will face consequences.
New at 4, health advocates are urging women who use birth control to watch out for fees in the months before a new state law takes effect. In some cases, those charges could be illegal.
San Diego 6's Derek Stahl has been on top of this story. He joins us live from the headquarters of Planned Parenthood with more on this health alert. Derek.
Good afternoon. Advocates like Planned Parenthood say if you're paying a copay for your birth control, you'd better ask why, because under federal law, women are generally entitled to all FDA birth control methods without cost sharing. Now, back in September, a San Diego 6 investigation revealed thousands of cases of improper charges at the pharmacy counter, including one by San Diego 6's own insurance provider. We found United Healthcare was charging a $50 copay for the generic form of the patch. Now, under federal law, insurers must cover all generic methods approved by the FDA without a copay and any brand names that don't have generic alternatives. United Healthcare initially told us the charges were proper, but after 2 months of letters and appeals, they recently reversed their decision.
The Affordable Care Act was designed to prevent unintended pregnancies, and that's what its goal was. Unfortunately, the insurance companies are trying to interpret that law, and they're doing so in a way that's giving this patchwork of coverage. January 1st, 2016, it'll be very clear what is and what is not covered without medication management clouding all of that.
So 1 year from now, January 1st of 2016, a new state law will take effect that closes some of the loopholes advocates say that insurance companies have been taking advantage of. Until then, they say if you are getting charged for a copay for your birth control, you should talk to your insurance company and possibly file a complaint. We've put an explainer on how to do that on SanDiego6.com. Reporting live, Derek Stahl, San Diego 6 News.
Good information. Thank you, Derek. Hospitals are facing fines for making mistakes, including 8 in San Diego. Federal officials fined more than 700 medical centers, including 8 local hospitals. Those include 3 Scripps Health sites, 2 Sharp hospitals, UC San Diego Medical Center, and 2 campuses operated by Palomar Health District. Most of the infractions are for wrong medications, infections, and patients developing bed sores. Recent reports showed 3.9 million preventable hospital incidents around the country in 2013. On the positive side, Kaiser on Zion Avenue had the best score in San Diego. Well, Operation Game On kicked off today with the ultimate golf party to celebrate the new year.
Yeah, San Diegans took a swing here. They played a unique form of golf at the Fairbanks Ranch Country Club. They each got a chance to compete for a hole-in-one, but the size of this cup is 15 inches instead of that normal 4.5. Operation Game On was started by a veteran who found that golf has been very beneficial physically and mentally for wounded military members.
Once they've done their duty and they get discharged and they're severely disabled, then we still got to continue. America still has to continue to give them a somewhat normal life.
So all the proceeds from this fundraiser benefit combat injured troops who are learning to play the game. I tried with that 15-inch. You would think it'd be easier.
Easier.
Still far. It's hard to aim. You still have to try.
Great for everybody out there, out at the golf course, having a good time.
Fun was
good
out.
all around. Yeah. All right, he says it was all just a big misunderstanding, an act of generosity mistaken for attempted child trafficking.
How a millionaire philanthropist says his attempt to pay it forward turned him into a wanted man.
He may be a Bulls fan, but he still appreciates the champs, what the president found in common with the San Antonio Spurs.
A 94-year-old driver involved in a fatal collision with a pedestrian. Coming up, we get response from the elderly community. We talk about why these types of collisions could be on the rise and what's being done to prevent them.
Good evening, meteorologist Sabrina Fine. Now that more sunshine is out, temperatures are increasing. Check out Chula Vista. You've warmed about 2 degrees compared to the last 24 hours, and more warmth is on the way. We break it down to you in your forecast. San Diego 6 News at 4 returns.
You're watching San Diego 6 News at 4 with Jim Patton, Neda Arampor, and meteorologist Sabrina Fine.
We have learned that the woman struck at a Rancho Bernardo intersection has died.
62-year-old Mary Elliott was struck and killed on Wednesday evening while crossing Rancho Bernardo Road near Asina Drive. She suffered a head injury and was taken to the hospital where she died over the weekend. We've also learned the driver who hit her is a 94-year-old man. This is the 4th accident involving senior drivers in less than 1 month. San Diego 6's Amanda Shotsky has reaction from San Diego's senior community.
It seems we hear about it way too often. A senior driver involved in an accident.
I feel very sad when we get to the point where our reflexes are so slow, and we have to be careful, more careful.
Just last month, this 80-year-old driver mixed up the pedals, crashing into a Grantville restaurant.
I saw another missed opportunity for prevention.
Judy Bonilla is a gerontologist, and she specializes in teaching what she calls driving retirement in a class called We Get Around.
Driving retirement is planning for the time you will not be able to drive.
That means making sure a person's health is up to par and teaching about community resources that could be used as alternatives.
They don't want to lose their independence. Many come to me because they're not sure they're going to pass their next driving test.
Bonilla says there will come an age in everyone's life when they will no longer be safe to drive, but that age is different for everyone.
I'm 85 and I drive, and I think reasonably, even though my wife doesn't agree.
Art Sarin is a member of the California Senior Legislature.
Our purpose is to develop proposals to the state Senate and state House representatives which would advocate for senior issues.
And one of their key issues, traffic safety when it comes to driving or being a pedestrian. And Sarin says there are often misconceptions when it comes to seniors driving.
Age is not a determinant of how safe a driver you are.
According to the Department of Motor Vehicles, those over 65 actually have fewer accidents than teens. The key is to be prepared, whether you're just getting behind the wheel or transitioning out of the driver's seat.
And for more information on We Get Around, you can go to wegetaround.org. And we want to make sure to say that this isn't a program to help seniors stop driving. It's to help them transition and to drive as safe as possible for as long as possible.
Do you think they're having a challenge, though? Or would they be afraid to sign up for this because they think they have to hand over the keys?
You know, I hope that's not the case. This has been a fairly new program. It's just the last couple of years. And she said that she's had really good responses. And she said it's also for the adult children of elderly people who want to help them transition into retirement.
You know, a little aside to this, I think of the technology of self-driving automobiles, which is going to help so many people, seniors in particular, with not losing the ability to get around, because it's the loss of independence, I think people are concerned about.
Absolutely. That's what everyone that we spoke with today said. It's about their independence. They don't want to lose their independence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Amanda, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, open for traffic. Cars are moving again on the Golden Gate Bridge.
The bridge opened earlier than expected after being closed this weekend for the installation of a $30 million barrier to prevent head-on collisions. It was the longest closure in bridge history. Since 1970, 16 people have died in head-on collisions on that span of the Golden Gate. This movable 12-inch wide median barrier separates the north and south lanes now and will be moved twice a day to accommodate the flow of traffic. Police in Los Angeles are admitting a huge mistake when they released video of a man accused of child trafficking. Turns out he was a millionaire businessman giving away cash.
Yeah, police in Covina released a description of Roland Garcia last week after a woman said he offered her $100. But speaking to reporters, Garcia now says he was just trying to pay it forward. He was shopping at a meat market in Covina, saw a woman with her son who looked like she could use a hand up.
Just pull it out, the $100 without thinking out of my pocket, say, here you go. She would say, no, no. I say, yeah, it's yours. I give it to you. It's, it's for your child. Her face was kind of shocked, and then I said, look, I've been blessed by God.
Garcia says his trucking business has been doing well financially, but the woman was suspicious and went immediately to police. Once investigators checked out Garcia's background, they determined he was telling the truth.
Well, usually Sabrina and I are on the same height, but right now, unfortunately, I injured my foot, so I don't get to wear high heels like you. Right. Bummer.
So what exactly happened?
Well, I was running on the sand and my ankle kind of twisted the wrong way, so I'm not sure yet. I have to go to the doctor tomorrow and see what's going on. But they did say when we start our new show, break a leg.
Well, that was good, right? Yep. Yes, it actually happened. That's kind of funny. I get that joke. That's a lot better than some of Jim's jokes. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some of our temperatures for us because we're noticing a little bit more sunshine, that rain has come to an end, and you might also be going out to the ocean and doing a little jog there out onto the beach. Hopefully, you do not injure yourself like Netta did. Temperatures right now with more sunshine are actually fairly pleasant into downtown, 64 degrees. You can see 61 into Alpine and Oceanside also at around 62. That disturbance that brought us a lot of the rainfall, in fact, close to an inch of rain out over toward, I believe it was into El Cajon, has now begun to shift a little bit further out over toward Arizona, and look at the ridge beginning to build through. That will allow temperatures tomorrow along the coastline maybe to jump up by about 1 degree. Inland areas, though, you're going to actually warm up to close to 5 degrees above average, and the heat just will continue to build. It looks like the end of the work week, we will see our temperatures close to 10 degrees above average. Starting off, though, at just about an hour or so at 5 o'clock, fairly mild day, although continuing to deal with plenty of clouds on into place, and then a little bit more sunshine for tomorrow as well. So starting your day, it might actually be a little bit cooler. Ramona going for 44 degrees, La Mesa sitting at about 52, and for your lunch hour, the mid-60s for the coastline, as well as inland communities, but then we'll warm up probably on into the lower 70s for us as we head on to inland areas. Into the waters for you surfing, fair conditions for you with your swell out of the west-northwest 2 to 3 feet, occasionally getting up to 4. 70 forecast for you, 68 tomorrow, warming to 73 though on Friday. Inland 71 degrees tomorrow, 76 Friday. The mountains 55 degrees with beautiful skies and 75 for the deserts. Guys, back to you.
Nice to see all that sun.
I know, much better. Well, I think we needed the rain, but it'll look prettier.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Well, in just about an hour, college football fans will be glued to the TV as the Ducks take on the Buckeyes.
That's right, a big game coming out. This is the final game of the first ever college football playoff national championships. Kickoff is at 5:30. According to ESPN, the Ducks are favorited over the Buckeyes. Tonight's game is being played in Arlington, Texas.
Well, the president may be a Bulls fan, but he found something in common with the San Antonio Spurs.
Even I have to admit that the Spurs are hard to dislike. First of all, they're old. And for an old guy, it makes me feel good to see, where's Tim? Tim's got some gray. There's a few others, with little sprinkles around here. There's a reason why the uniform is black and silver.
You just called the Spurs old. The team presented the president with a jersey and an autographed ball. He asked for their World Championship trophy, and they said no. Sorry.
Even tying it to the color of the uniform. That
Love
was
it.
good. iPhone anxiety, it's a real problem. Why too much time away from your phone can actually be bad for your health.
And packing on the holiday bills. The simple things you can do today to help trim down your debt.
And on this Monday afternoon, a beautiful look at Del Mar Beach. Stocks finished lower today, continuing what has been a rough start to the year. Stock market has now seen losses on 5 of 7 trading days this year. The Dow finished 96 points lower. Both the Nasdaq and S&P 500 fell 0.8% today. Meanwhile, 2014 was the best year for job growth since 1999. Employers added nearly 3 million jobs last year. Hiring spree was broad-based, but business and professional services hired the most thanks to temp jobs. The category added more than 500,000 positions. The hospitality sector was next with more than 400,000 jobs created. Healthcare and construction also making notable gains. Well, now that most of us, I should say, are settled in the new year, it's time to tackle the bills that have piled up from the holidays. If you blew your budget, now is a great time to start fresh with a new financial habits. Here are some steps that you can take starting today. January can bring some cold, hard truth for consumers as December's holiday merriment translates into a mountain of bills. First step toward tackling holiday debt is making a budget. Charting what income is coming in and which expenses have to be paid out and how much is left to put toward debt. To make real progress on the existing debt, you're going to need to pay more than the minimum balance each month. Start with the most expensive debt first. Not necessarily the card with the biggest balance. Look at which credit card has the highest interest rate and start there. Also consider balance transfer offers, moving debt from a high interest card to a zero interest card. But only if you can pay off a balance before the introductory offer expires and interest rates jump. In the meantime, try not to add any new debt to your load. Make more sacrifices for a few months until it's under control. Skip that morning cup of coffee or those dinners out and bring your own lunch to the office. Maybe even consider selling unwanted holiday gift cards to bring in some extra cash. Remember to use those one way or the other because it's easy to forget. Well, everywhere you look, someone is on their cell phone. Americans are obsessed. Now, a new study shows people actually experience separation anxiety when their smartphone isn't around. University of Missouri researchers found that iPhone users solving a series of puzzles performed better when they had their iPhones with them, but when deprived of their smartphone. The study's participants experienced significant physical changes like elevated heart rate, blood pressure, and anxiety. The other impact is to your posture. By tilting your head just 15 degrees, you can double the weight of force put on your spine. A chaos inside a nightclub during a performance by Chris Brown. Gunfire rings out, sending people scrambling for safety, and it's all caught on camera. The changes made for his performance here. And nobody was safe from the jokes at the Golden Globes, the joke that put George Clooney on the spot.
You're watching San Diego 6 News at 4.
In an effort to protect patients and staff from the flu, starting today, Scripps hospitals are placing temporary restrictions on their visitors.
Visitors at all 5 of their hospitals in San Diego County will now be screened for the flu. Those displaying flu-like symptoms will be asked to leave. All this to keep the flu from spreading to patients and staff. So in addition, anyone 14 years old and under will not be allowed inside unless they are patients or have appointments. Patients will also be limited to a maximum of 4 visitors per day. County health officials say the rate of flu cases has nearly doubled from last year, and just recently 2 local people died from it. We're now on our top story. Mental health doctors and nurses are on the picket line advocating for better patient care.
Yeah, in a very heated labor dispute, union members are even blaming some suicides on a lack of staffing by Kaiser Permanente. San Diego 6's Jenny Day joins us live from Grantville to explain. Jenny.
Jim, Netta, hospital workers say it's simply taking too long for patients with mental health illness to get in and see a doctor. That's why today they marched for change for nearly 10 hours right here out front of the Kaiser Permanente on Zion Avenue, and they plan to continue to strike all week long. Now, hospital workers aren't asking for better pay. They aren't asking for better hours. They say that they want more staff.
Kaiser, Kaiser, can't you see? This is a healthcare emergency. Kaiser, Kaiser, can't you see? This is a healthcare emergency.
Now, we are in the midst of a mental health crisis, yet some hospital workers say patients are not getting adequate or timely care. Kaiser Permanente doctors and nurses say they will not work until the conditions are improved. Doctors say some patients have to wait more than a month to be seen, and then sadly it's too late. Years of negotiations between the union and the hospital are at a standstill. Now, back out here live, Kaiser Permanente argues that in the last couple of years they've increased the number of employees by about 25%. And I want to be clear, if you are a patient in need of care, the doors here are open. We're live in Grantville. Jenny Day, San Diego 6 News.
Jenny, thank you. County health officials are advising all beachgoers to stay out of the water for now. This is for all coastal waters in San Diego County, including Mission and San Diego Bay, as a result of contamination due to the recent rains. Also, this warning comes after a San Diego surfer died from a staph infection just last week. It's not clear if the staph infection came from the runoff. Also, he did have underlying health issues which could have contributed to his death. Officials say you should avoid coastal waters for at least 72 hours following the rain.
New developments into what caused AirAsia Flight 8501 to crash into the Java Sea. The flight data recorder has been recovered. Indonesian officials say it was found under the wreckage of one of the plane's wings. The plane's cockpit voice recorder has also been found, but that will be brought up when currents allow divers to get in the water. Investigators hope both recorders help them figure out why that plane crashed last month. The plane went down with 162 people on board.
Police are working to piece together what led to a shooting in a San Jose nightclub where R&B singer Chris Brown was performing. Video taken inside the club early Sunday showed the chaos after Brown stopped his performance to point out that a fight was breaking out. Shortly after, gunfire rang out. 5 people were injured in the shooting but are expected to survive. Brown performed at Park nightclub in the Gas Lamp last night. Security was stepped up at the event, but no problems were reported. Well, it was a big night for celebrities at the 72nd Golden Globes. From George Clooney to Bill Cosby, no one was spared from the show's hosts poking fun at them.
While it was humorous, it also included moments of reflection. Stephanie Elam reports.
I have the nail.
Yeah, get after it. You got the Globes, too.
The Oscars may be Hollywood's biggest night, but the irreverent Golden Globes are the town's biggest party. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, hosting for the third and final time, skewered everyone from Bill Cosby
I got the pills in the bathroom, but I put them in the people.
to George Clooney, who was there with his very accomplished wife, Amal Alamuddin.
Amal is a human rights lawyer who worked on the Enron case, was an advisor to Kofi Annan regarding Syria, and was selected for a 3-person UN commission investigating rules of war violations in the Gaza Strip. So tonight, her husband is getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
The newly married Lifetime Achievement honoree accepted the prestigious award, acknowledging his bride.
Amal, whatever alchemy it is that brought us together, I couldn't be more proud to be your husband.
Real-world events also taking main stage.
Je suis Charlie. Je suis Charlie.
The Golden Globes saluted free speech, led by the president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association.
Together, we will stand united against anyone who would repress free speech, anywhere from North Korea to Paris.
There were, of course, awards. The coming-of-age film Boyhood won 3 trophies: Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Drama. In the comedy musical categories, The Grand Budapest Hotel won Best Picture. while the transgender-themed Transparent took Best TV Series and Best Actor for Jeffrey Tambor, who dedicated his award to the transgender community.
Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for letting us be a part of the change.
Surprise presenter Prince drew big cheers before announcing Best Song went to Common and John Legend for Glory from the civil rights drama Selma.
I am the unarmed black kid who maybe needed a hand but instead was given a bullet. I am the two fallen police officers murdered in the line of duty. Selma has awakened my humanity.
Stephanie Elam, CNN, Hollywood.
And a huge congrats goes out to CW's own Gina Rodriguez. She's the star of the hit show Jane the Virgin. Rodriguez won the Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Comedy Series. She seemed genuinely surprised by this win. It was her first nomination and the first year on air for the series. You can watch Jane the Virgin right here on San Diego 6, Monday nights at 9 o'clock.
Very excited for her. Sabrina Fine standing by. It looked like a beautiful day today, at least what I saw from my corner of the world.
Now that the rain is gone, I was thinking all weekend long, I hope Netta took my advice and actually went out on Saturday as opposed to Sunday, because we just got doused with on and off rain all the way until early tomorrow, early today. So when we look at these rainfall totals, notice that over toward Poway, they got close to 0.6 of an inch, Oceanside a little more than 0.4, San Marcos and Chula Vista close to 0.3 of an inch. We are going to begin to see a drying forecast, and with that, more sunshine and temperatures will warm up. Although right now, when you look back at the satellite radar, even though the rain is gone, the clouds continue to linger on through the area. Coming up, we'll break down what to expect for tomorrow. Guys?
Sounds great. Thank you, Sabrina. Have you mastered your selfie? What about your backside photos? The new invention that'll prevent you from twisting and turning.
And spicing up a tough race, the Tough Mudder just got a whole lot tougher. The new obstacle that has mudders burning and coughing.
An elephant rampage, why visitors at a Thailand park are being warned about some destructive elephants and why they're acting out.
Looking at the beach in Del Mar as we near the sunset here in just a bit. And welcome back. As part of our new 4 p.m. newscast is the Daily Dose. I'll bring you all kinds of interesting health and fitness stories. So first off, a popular race that pushes limits is the Tough Mudder, and this course just got a lot more spicy.
This come out of nowhere, so you pay attention to your fellow mudders in here. Remember, everybody in here is on your team.
So this year's Tough Mudder will be in Los Angeles in March. It's a 10 to 12 mile team-based race. They're unveiling new challenges now. One of those will be tear gas, a whole tent full. Participants will have to run through not only mud, ice, water, and fire, but now gas as well. This year, this goes along with obstacles like a forest of electrically charged wires. One mudder describes it like having sriracha poured into every tiny cut and abrasion. Ouch. And kale is a healthy superfood, so healthy, it's pretty much all a dog will be fed for a while until he drops the lbs. Meet this 85-pound beagle named Kale Chips. He's making the rounds across the internet now. This dog was taken via wagon to a Chicago animal care center after being given up by an owner who just couldn't care for him anymore. The shelter workers are calling him Kale Chips because that's what his future looks like. They're going to have to feed him a lot of lettuce and leaves. They need a foster home with minimal or no stairs, since walking is tough for the poor guy. And how is social media weighing down on your mental health? Facebook and Twitter could cause feelings of shame, paranoia, and sadness. About 2/3 of social media users admit they airbrush reality when they share photos or update statuses. This results in constantly fibbing or downright fabricating your life to seem as interesting as all the other people online. A psychologist who is investigating this so-called digital amnesia says the more you twist reality on social media, the more your brain may struggle to separate fact from fiction.
Big booty, but you got a big booty.
Oh. Well, speaking of social media, we've seen selfies galore, but what about those fitness photos, perhaps of men showing off their buff backs or women proving they have curves? That was one of the most famous back selfies, Kim Kardashian. Her life would be much easier with this, though. We're talking about the Belfie stick. Instead of the selfie stick, the Belfie, it bends just right for your backside. And the product was created by On.com, and right now it's out of stock. People keep buying this thing because they don't want the awkward movements.
Oh, I hope they're buying it as a practical joke.
I don't know.
And
You
not
see these
seriously
I was telling
take
you
a number of.
I saw our morning show. They taped their phone to like a when you sweep a dustpan, on a stick, and they were using that as their own selfie, or maybe their backy
selfie
would
stick.
work too. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Belfies.
Belfie.
The back of our head, we can always check it that way. No?
That's all right. I'd rather, instead of looking at the back of your head, Netta, I'd rather look at the beautiful sight out over toward Del Mar Beach. Although we are continuing to deal with a lot of clouds, the rain is gone. More sunshine coming through for us this afternoon, and even more expected for us this week, and as a result, temperatures are going above average. Right now, out toward Poway, 60 degrees, Ramona at about 58, and Encinitas, 62 degrees. That system that brought us the rain, that has now exited the region, and we are going to see this ridge build with a lot of warmth. Too bad there's not warmth, though, for your relatives out over across the East Coast. Powerful cold front moving on through, with that producing snowfall up through New England. The slushy mixture for portions of, say, Boston, even down toward Philadelphia, where black ice is a concern for them tonight. Even all the way down toward Atlanta, seeing a lot of that rainfall. High pressure then moving on through, so for your relatives out over toward Minnesota, their temperatures tomorrow will only be in the teens when they wake up in single digits. So that cold air mass for them, while we see a pleasant warm-up. Breaking down your day at 5 o'clock in just a few minutes or so. We'll continue with more clouds and sun, 62 degrees for if you're heading out for dinner. 10 p.m., 58 degrees, mostly cloudy skies are sticking with us. And then right around 8 a.m. heading out to work yet again, you'll notice more sunshine. Temperatures fairly mild to start off, and then warming up probably about 3 to 5 degrees above average for us in the afternoon. Inland areas, you'll be about 61 degrees in just a few minutes. Staying mostly cloudy as well throughout the evening, and then when you wake up, a little bit more sunshine for you. A cool night at around 48 degrees for you, but remember, even if you have that jacket, you will quickly be shedding it on into the afternoon when temperatures warm into the lower 70s. 7-day forecast for you, 68 degrees tomorrow, going 71 on Wednesday. Inland areas 71 tomorrow. Your warmest day right now should be Friday at 76. The mountains 55 degrees, climbing to the 60s by Friday, and the deserts a pleasant 75. Let's look at your 7-day forecast, guys. Back to you.
Looks like a great week, Sabrina. Thank you very much. Well, last minute filming, how the cast of the upcoming Entourage film took advantage of the Golden Globes red carpet.
And what a ride, why thousands around the world hopped on the subway in their skivvies.
Coming up tomorrow on Wake Up San Diego.
Not just women can be obsessed with selfies, what it may mean when a guy posts too many pictures of himself online.
And it's another Ticket Tuesday. We have your chance to win free tickets to Disney on Ice. That's all tomorrow morning, starting at 5.
Looking at the beach in Del Mar as we near the sunset here in just a bit. And welcome back. As part of our new 4 p.m. newscast is the Daily Dose. I'll bring you all kinds of interesting health and fitness stories. So first off, a popular race that pushes limits is the Tough Mudder, and this course just got a lot more spicy.
Just come out of nowhere, so you pay attention to your fellow mutters in here. Remember, everybody in here is on your team.
So this year's Tough Mudder will be in Los Angeles in March. It's a 10 to 12 mile team-based race. They're unveiling new challenges now. One of those will be tear gas, a whole tent full. Participants will have to run through not only mud, ice, water, and fire, but now gas as well. This year, this goes along with obstacles like a forest of electrically charged wires. One mudder describes it like having sriracha poured into every tiny cut and abrasion. Ouch. And kale is a healthy superfood, so healthy, it's pretty much all a dog will be fed for a while until he drops the lbs. Meet this 85-pound beagle named Kale Chips. He's making the rounds across the internet now. This dog was taken via wagon to a Chicago animal care center after being given up by an owner who just couldn't care for him anymore. The shelter workers are calling him Kale Chips because that's what his future looks like. They're going to have to feed him a lot of lettuce and leaves. They need a foster home with minimal or no stairs, since walking is tough for the poor guy. And how is social media weighing down on your mental health? Facebook and Twitter could cause feelings of shame, paranoia, and sadness. About 2/3 of social media users admit they airbrush reality when they share photos or update statuses. This results in constantly fibbing or downright fabricating your life to seem as interesting as all the other people online. A psychologist who is investigating this so-called digital amnesia says the more you twist reality on social media, the more your brain may struggle to separate fact from fiction.
big booty, but you got a big booty.
Well, speaking of social media, we've seen selfies galore, but what about those fitness photos, perhaps of men showing off their buff backs or women proving they have curves? That was one of the most famous back selfies, Kim Kardashian. Her life would be much easier with this, though. We're talking about the Belfie stick. Instead of the selfie stick, the Belfie, it bends just right for your backside. And the product was created by on.com, and right now it's out of stock. People keep buying this thing because they don't want the awkward movements.
Oh, I hope they're buying it as a practical joke.
I don't know.
And
You
not
see these
seriously
I was telling
take
you
a
how
number of.
I saw our morning show. They taped their phone to like a when you sweep a dustpan, on a stick, and they were using that as their own selfie or maybe their backie.
Selfie stick.
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Belfies.
Belfie.
The back of our head, we can always check it that way. No?
Yeah. That's all right. I'd rather, instead of looking at the back of your head, Netta, I'd rather look at the beautiful sight out over toward Del Mar Beach. Although we are continuing to deal with a lot of clouds, the rain is gone. More sunshine coming through for us this afternoon, and even more expected for us this week, and as a result, temperatures are going above average. Right now, out toward Poway, 60 degrees, Ramona at about 58, and Encinitas, 62 degrees. That system that brought us the rain, that has now exited the region, and we are going to see this ridge build with a lot of warmth. Too bad there's not warmth, though, for your relatives out over across the East Coast. Powerful cold front moving on through, with that producing snowfall up through New England. The slushy mixture for portions of, say, Boston, even down toward Philadelphia, where black ice is a concern for them tonight. Even all the way down toward Atlanta, seeing a lot of that rainfall. High pressure then moving on through, so for your relatives out over toward Minnesota, their temperatures tomorrow will only be in the teens when they wake up in single digits. So that cold air mass for them, while we see a pleasant warm-up. Breaking down your day at 5 o'clock in just a few minutes or so. We'll continue with more clouds and sun, 62 degrees for if you're heading out for dinner. 10 p.m., 58 degrees, mostly cloudy skies are sticking with us. And then right around 8 a.m. heading out to work yet again, you'll notice more sunshine. Temperatures fairly mild to start off, and then warming up probably about 3 to 5 degrees above average for us in the afternoon. Inland areas, you'll be about 61 degrees in just a few minutes. Staying mostly cloudy as well throughout the evening, and then when you wake up, a little bit more sunshine for you. A cool night at around 48 degrees for you, but remember, even if you have that jacket, you will quickly be shedding it on into the afternoon when temperatures warm into the lower 70s. 7-day forecast for you, 68 degrees tomorrow, going 71 on Wednesday. Inland areas 71 tomorrow. Your warmest day right now should be Friday at 76. The mountains 55 degrees, climbing to the 60s by Friday, and the deserts a pleasant 75. Let's look at your 7-day forecast, guys. Back to you.
Looks like a great week, Sabrina. Thank you very much. Well, last minute filming, how the cast of the upcoming Entourage film took advantage of the Golden Globes red carpet.
And what a ride, why thousands around the world hopped on the subway in their skivvies.
Coming up tomorrow on Wake Up San Diego.
Not just women can be obsessed with selfies, what it may mean when a guy posts too many pictures of himself online.
And it's another Ticket Tuesday. We have your chance to win free tickets to Disney on Ice. That's all tomorrow morning, starting at 5.
Welcome back. An update on some of the headlines we're following for you. Mental health doctors and nurses spent the day rallying for better patient care.
2,600 mental health workers at Kaiser hospitals across California walked off the job today, demanding adequate and timely care for patients. Workers say some patients have to wait more than a month to be seen. These workers are planning to strike the rest of this week.
A woman struck by a car at a Rancho Bernardo intersection has died. 62-year-old Mary Elliott was crossing Rancho Bernardo Road near Ascena Drive Wednesday evening when she was hit. Person behind the wheel, a 94-year-old man. This is the 4th accident involving senior drivers in less than a month.
Scripps hospitals are placing temporary restrictions on their visitors in an effort to protect patients and staff from the flu. Starting today, visitors will now be screened before coming in. Those displaying any flu-like symptoms will be asked to leave. In addition, anyone 14 years old and under will not be allowed inside unless they are patients or have appointments.
I'm John Carroll, live in the San Diego 6 newsroom. The future of a local priest at El Cajon's St. Peter Chaldean Catholic Cathedral is now back in limbo. You may recall Father Noel Gorgeous was ordered back to Iraq by the Chaldean Patriarch, and then last week Pope Francis stepped in to rescind that order. Well, now there may be more problems for Father Gorgeous. We'll tell you all about it tonight on San Diego 6 News at 10.
Thank you, John. And there weren't just paparazzi at the Golden Globes. Movie cameras also gracing the red carpet.
The cast and crew of the hit TV show Entourage took advantage of the star-studded event to shoot scenes for its upcoming movie. So to get the right shots, stars walked and re-walked the red carpet. Entourage follows a movie star, his agent, and friends. The Entourage movie is expected to open in theaters this summer.
Very cool, though I do wonder how they handled it with the unions, because even to appear on camera, there's a certain minimum base wage you get through SAG. So how did that all work out?
I don't know.
Don't know either.
Don't
Exactly.
know.
I wonder who they got on there.
And what appears to be a rash of elephant attacks is leaving damaged cars and buildings in Thailand.
This amateur video shows an elephant peering into somebody's car over the weekend. The elephant rubs up against. Also shows an elephant trying to step over the hood of someone else's car, crushing it. Today, officials say yet another elephant damaged a grocery store, breaking windows with its trunk. Fortunately, nobody has been hurt. Officials at Khao Yai National Park say the aggressive behavior is a result of mating season.
Wow. How do you explain that to your insurance? An elephant smashed my car.
My car was very attractive to the elephant.
It reminds me of like the bears up at Tahoe where they get into cars if someone leaves a snack. Maybe that's what's happening.
They're going for food. I don't know what to say about the whole mating thing. That's a different animal, as they say. A sight of hundreds of pantless people riding the subway. No cause for alarm.
It was just the 14th annual No Pants subway ride. This ride takes place in cities all over the world, and it was started in New York City. It's always held in January to make it even sillier to see people braving the elements without their pants. Wow.
See, I wonder about the guy that got on the subway a little later and half the people had their pants off and thought, whatever, it's a subway.
What's going on here? New York.
Yeah, whatever it is, it is. They did it in San Diego as well.
No pants
Really?
party.
They did it in San Diego.
So were you on that?
I wasn't. No, I saw it, and there you have it. So, we're wearing our pants, by the way, at least the one who wears them. See you tonight at 10.
Good night.